Kia ora, I'm Erin J. Doyle. Welcome to my channel and day 7 of Nano. And once again, I do not have my document in front of me, so I don't know what my word count is, so pause for clicking. I am at 41,697 words this morning. It is also almost 10 and I've barely gotten out of bed. Aside from the late start and at the moment lack of exercise because it's already hot and I'm just like ugh, and I'm already late starting, so I'm like ugh. I may regret this in the afternoon when I start feeling all stiff and, you know, unwalked. So the papers I'm shuffling with off screen amount to three bits of paper, which represent the plan for the final chapters of my book. I'm not convinced by the plan at this stage. At the moment, the majority of the story, the characters are kind of prime of life, and then by one of those final chapters, one of the central characters is like unspecified age but clearly very elderly, like gathering round the grandkids to tell them about the time kind of age. And at the moment, one of my characters is doing some weird stuff and obviously has some evaluating growth kind of things to deal with. But I haven't actually shown him doing it. I've realised that what I've written up to, that character is still kind of, you know, shit. And then it just kind of jumps forward to that character being elderly and you're kind of invited to assume that he's got his shit together in the interim. And I'm not down with that. That means I have to now just make it up and try and link what I've already written to the ending that I've planned. I also have an issue with the conclusion for one of the other characters' arcs where again, I think there's just too much blank space left between where it leaves off and where we pick it up again in the future. Like, there's a whole bunch of, oh my god, how was that possible? What was done here? And I'm like, it's just, somehow when I was planning it, I didn't think about that. Possibly because I've never planned anything before, so I thought I was doing swell at it. So today is going to be very pantsy. So, I have at this stage learned that I quite like working from a plan, so I'm feeling a bit dubious about that. I'm also starting to reconsider the specific opening scene, because if I change this other thing, then that opening scene may not work, which is fine, but it was like a cool, like attention grabbing moment. And it changes. If I change this one thing, it changes the opening, it changes the other character's final scene, and it changes the outro part of the story that I've planned. So there's all these like little things that will end up being changed if I just change one element of the story. I think it might be worth changing because I think the change would make it more, possibly more satisfactory and hopeful, maybe, and possibly a bit more in keeping with character. So I'm going to get to it. At some point I will probably put on less clothes because I'm hot, and I will be back at some point to give you an update, I guess. Today is going less than medium. It is now 12 and I'm up to 42,200 72. For a moment there. Making my grand total for today, 631 words. Not going that well. Because going off plan, suddenly having to make up some stuff, wasn't prepared for that mentally, I don't know. So I went for a walk to buy candy. I bought Maltesers. Quite pleased with the Maltesers anyway. And on the walk, I was like, oh my god, this is exactly what I'll do. Came back, type. Wait a minute! As I begin typing out the conversation that one of the main characters is having with a stranger, I remembered that that character is deaf. I'm like, you can't just randomly have a conversation with a random stranger if you can't hear what they're saying. So I'm like, unless I make the stranger fluent in sign language, that doesn't work. And given that it's literally a random stranger in the street, that seems awfully convenient if I do that. So I'm like, well, it was meant to be one of those, like, you know, random stranger says random thing that happens to be the perfect thing to hear in that moment kind of things. Bugger. I'm not gonna hit 50k today. I'm writing about stuff I have never experienced, but a lot of people definitely have, so I have to explain it properly. So at the moment I'm just kind of putting in a very vague description of what should happen, like kind of the stuff that's specific to this scenario, and then some general blah blah based kind of off movies, to be honest. But because it's something that so many people have done, it kind of needs to be realistic, so I'm gonna have to do some research on that. It is 2:30. My word count for today is currently 2,566, and total being 44,207 for the project. So I'm like getting really close to that last 5,000 stretch. That almost feels like, I mean, it's hours of work, but it feels somehow like the final stretch more so than the last 10k does. I don't know, is that just me? I've kind of got into a rhythm with writing this next chapter, which again, not planned, but I'm just kind of doing it. I think what I am currently working on is that transition from the planned characters are young to the planned characters are elderly, and it's the bit in the middle that basically I'm just writing so there's a nicer transition that shows you the passage of time without me just going, this many years later, or something along those lines. I think what I'm currently putting in is something which, it's basically a condensed version of something which I had previously intended to have scattered throughout the entire story, but was struggling to put in there because of technical difficulties. Like, world building requirement meant that I actually couldn't have it scattered through, and I've now put in an event that means it can now happen, but instead of happening throughout the story, it's now just happening all at once, if that makes sense. Which does feel random, but like I say, I think on a rewrite or second draft edity process, I think I can get it to feel consistent, at least from that character's perspective. So yes, I'm feeling a little bit more optimistic about how the story is starting to wrap up. I think it's going to require a lot of editing, because whilst this one character's little bit seems to be going quite well, and I'm really enjoying writing it. The other characters I'm kind of like, and then I guess goes over there and maybe does some work. It's like, ugh. So yes, currently feeling okay. It is now 4:30. I've just taken a break that was unplanned just to clean, because the way that I have achieved such high word counts is by abandoning all other duties for the last week. So I've done a lot of washing and some like as absolutely essential housework, but other chores have accumulated. So there's been some clutter just because I haven't put things away. Like, I did the laundry but I didn't fold it and put it away. Some stuff needed to go on the air for a while, so I had the air out with stuff on it, and then I had the laundry hamper out, and then I had, you know, the eternal armchair of laundry out as well. Like, there's just kind of clutter. And I felt like it was kind of closing in, and I was becoming consciously aware of it, which is just, you know, very much in one's head, but nonetheless. So I spontaneously stopped writing and went and folded and put the error away, and, you know, sorted socks, and which I never even bother doing usually. Procrastination for you. Vacuumed, so yeah. Like, it's not all the housework. It was very much just a little bit of extra, but I feel like the room is less kind of crowded, because my space is very, very small, so it only takes like a little bit of mess and disorganization for it to just feel like you're living in a hellhole. So far today I have written 3,444 words, bringing my total up to 45,085. Given that it's 4:30, obviously I won't be able to hit 50,000 words, even though that's only like 3 to 4 hours solid writing, and there is that much time left in the day. I don't think it's likely that I'll hit 50,000, just because I will end up stopping for dinner, and it is slightly uncomfortable, and I think we have noticed a significant drop off in like, it's not an unreasonable number of words for me to write in a day, but it's still up around my maximum, so let's be sensible. But I do think I'll get close, I think. It is 6:15, and I have written so far today 4,870, bringing my total to 46,511. I really want to finish today. Like, it'd be so exciting if I finished today. Slightly concerned that I'll hit the end of the story before hitting 50,000. Because this one's done. I've actually completely abandoned the plan and have just been writing. Yep. I am currently writing this one, which leaves only this one left to go, and then I'm done. It is 7:15. I have now written for today 5,741 words, bringing my total up to 47,382. And I'm into writing my final chapter. I think I was right. I'm going to hit the end of the story before I hit 50,000 words. But, like, I'm looking at chapter 22, and it's kind of bullet pointy, like a sentence and a gap in a sentence. It's sort of, here are my vague ideas and I'll fix it later kind of written. So once I've gone and fixed that, and then incorporated a chapter or two that I think needed to be in towards the beginning of the story to kind of tell it a little better, then I think that will get us well past the 50 word mark. If it doesn't, then I guess I've written a novella, not a novel. But fine. It is 8:55, dinner has been consumed, and my word count is 48,045 words. I am officially committing to not getting this video up today, and instead focusing my energy in cracking the 50,000 word mark before midnight. We're going to talk quietly because my walls are thin, as we've learned, and it's like 10:30 at night, so to speak. Anyway, so how's that for a rally? Are we ready? Keeping this hush-hush so as not to disturb the neighbours. I just wanted to say, basically, oh my god, and then something to the effect of, I hope your projects are also going amazingly well and you're super surprised at your success and amazingness. And if you liked this video, give it a like. If you want to see more, hit notifications and blah blah blah. And I will be back, I don't know, at least Thursday if not before. Bye. I am at 41,483 and I just made myself tear up whilst writing. Excellent.